Hello and welcome back to this channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to go ahead and use Adobe Capture and Adobe Fresco to create vector illustration from images, especially animals. Something like this. I'm also going to teach you how you can maybe make it more colorful with some techniques like this. So let's just get started. So first we're going to go into Unsplash and we're going to look for some animal photos. It could be anything. You could go and give it as pets and look for some beautiful images. The main thing that you want to do is you want the images to have a bit of a contrast. You don't want something like this. This might not come out so great, but that's okay. You can go ahead and search for things and see, this one might be an issue as well because it's a bit of whitish and a lighter background. So you have to go ahead and check for these things. I'm going to go ahead and give cat and let's see what comes up. And here's the photograph that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and download this, and you can click on download and save it onto your files or your images. And the next one that I did was give goat, and then I found one of those as well. I'm just going to leave a link to the images so that you can go ahead and download them directly. Once you have the images downloaded, go ahead and open up your Capture. If you don't know, Adobe Capture is a free tool. You can download it onto your iPad. I think it works also on your phone. I'm not sure about the Windows devices. You might have to check that. If not, you can always use your phone to do the exact steps that I'm going to do right now, and then just transfer the image off to just save it onto your Fresco account. That is the Adobe account, and it just shows up on Fresco. All right, so once you have this here, we're going to go ahead and click on camera if you're not already in the screen, okay? And in here, we're going to go into images, and depending on where your files are, if it's in camera roll, go ahead and get it. I'm going to go into files and bring it in. Okay, so it's in the pattern mode, so it's going to show up like that. Now up here, make sure you go into shapes, and you'll obviously see a colored version. If you want a colored one, go ahead and do that. But I'm going here into black and white so that it just shows the outlines or whatever. So there's so many different things you can do. The invert option, but that does not work on this image, but there are some images out there on which the invert version works pretty fine. And now I can't zoom this and show it to you guys, but the lines are very raggedy and it's not that great. You can also use your magic wand here to make it auto clean. Like, it just makes it a little bit better. Like, you can see this. It's not that great, but once you put this, it becomes a little darker and nicer. So you can use this option as well, and you can also adjust this like more or less like that. And I'm going to keep it at 50 so that it's easy for you guys to follow along. And we're going to go here, and if you want to add some things, you can. But for this, I don't think we need anything. I'm just going to click on this tick here so that it takes me to the next screen. Over here, you can refine things. You can go ahead and use your eraser and erase things off. So if you're going to use this shape for a lot of projects, a lot of different projects, then you might want to spend more time here trying to erase all the stray bits and make sure just the cat is visible. But since I'm going to be using this only for this tutorial or this process, I don't have to worry about all these extra lines because I'm going to clean it up in Fresco. And I find that it's easier for me to clean it up in Fresco. If you want to use it multiple times, make sure you clean it up really well over here itself, okay? And you can click on done, erase is done. Here is crop. If you want to crop this to much smaller, you can go ahead and do that. Everything looks good. And now I'll go to smooth. This is the important part. Now, as you can see, the smoothing is off and you can see all these ragged lines. And when I click it on, and sometimes it takes time to generate the image depending on how huge your image is. Okay, so it's completely done, and this is exactly how I want it. I'm going to click on save. So this takes you to this screen here where you can actually name this to anything that you want. I'm just going to keep it as shape 15 because I don't really care. If you're interested in the color palette, you can always click on this. If you want the graphic, click on this. You can choose everything that you want. So you do see different versions of the same shape. So in here, you'll see save to. This is the library where you're going to save. So what I mean is, if you open up Fresco and you click on these shapes here, you will see these libraries. So you have print me some color, typography, and your library shapes. This is something that comes with Fresco for me. If you want to save, you can either save it to print me some color or your library shapes, or you can click on plus here and create a new one. But you can also do that in Capture. So I'm just going to go back to capture and I'm going to say change, and you can put it in your library shapes. Let's just save it there, okay? And click on save. It says it's been saved, right? So I see that it's not ready to sync libraries. Make sure you sync it. If it's showing as gray, that means that it's not been synced. So you just want to go ahead and sync it up, okay? Let's see, your libraries are synced. Now that should be good. So now you can go back to Fresco, and if you click on plus here, your library shapes, you should see your cat up here. But since you cannot see it because these are my old ones, don't worry. I'm just going to go out. Just going to refresh it. Okay, it seems like it's synced now. Let's just check. Yeah, it's coming up here. Wonderful. So I'm going to go back, click on create new, and you can use any screen size that you want. I'm just going to click on current screen size, and up here I'm going to go into my shapes. Again, click again and go into your library shapes, and you see all of these. You see this is the unedited one. Maybe I had selected it, or maybe I synced it some other time. I don't remember. I'm going to click on that, and you see the shape. So let's go ahead and increase this to make it as big as we want. But don't worry, this is a vector. So even after you finish filling it with vector fill, you can still increase the size or decrease it. It doesn't matter because vector does not lose information when you resize it, right? So once you have this, you can use the fill, but this is a chance to actually make sure that you put it the color that you want it to be. You could make it black, or you can actually choose any color that you want on the scale and put that. I'm going to just use black fill, and I obviously want it to be a vector one. You can use pixel as well, but I would suggest vector. Once you have that, you can just click on any brush. I'll just click on my brush, and there you have it. Your cat is ready, but it's not done yet. So you can go to your eraser and erase off all these extra bits that you see right here, like that and like that. So yes, that's how you do this thing. As you can see, this is not a great example because I had to adjust the slides a little bit to give it a much nicer look. I'm going to show you something else that I did earlier. I do have this cat which I've done here, which is from the, let's bring back the background. So yeah, as you can see, I used a lot of darker colors here and made sure that they are a lot more smoother options. And then yeah, I toggled the settings a little bit in the back, and then I got this really nice looking cat. So you can do the same thing with the goat. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and do that now. So let me just go back to this file that I created earlier and hide it, and I'll go into capture, and let's go to camera again. Let's go and bring that photo. There you go. This is the photo. And as I said, you can always go ahead and click on that, and you can also increase this like that. This is what I did for the cat basically to make it look a lot more nicer. And once you have all these things done, you can go ahead and click like this. Make sure to use the smoothing on this, and this is going to take a really long time because, you know, it's a huge image. So I'm just going to go off into Fresco, and I will just use the shape that I already have. This one, I'm going to do that. Click on fill, plus new layer, fill, and let's make it a vector layer like this. So once you have this, you can go to your brush again. All right, so if you want to edit some things out, you can. What I did usually was I went into my eraser and made sure that the trimming here was very nice, so that the goat had a very nice edge here, so that it was separated out from the greens a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. As you can see here, I erased out some of the things over here, and next we'll go ahead and do the painting in the background. So what I did was, you just have to go into the background wherever you want, plus, and let's use the canvas brush for this. You can go into painting, and I use canvas brush flat with a lot of detail, and I use some really bright colors, something like greens. And we want to create a layer on top of this, so let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and add some layers like this. Obviously it's going to cover up everything, and my artboard is bigger than the image. Always make sure it fits the image properly. And I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of things like that, and make sure you click on clipping mask so that it applies only to the image. And then you can go ahead and make it all sorts of color that you want, and use all sorts of things, and it'll look pretty nice actually. So yeah, and if you feel like Black is something that would go much better here. You can go ahead and add that a little bit, make it all dreamy and nice, and there you go, you have your goat ready. So once you're done with all these things, you want to make sure that you remove your background by clicking on this I button and then export this so that it creates a really nice PNG without a background. So this is absolutely important. You want to slap this design onto things like t-shirts or make stickers out of them. Absolutely necessary. And yeah, that's it. That brings us to the end of this tutorial. You can basically create anything that you want. I do have an elephant here, as you can see. I'm just going to hide this. And go up here and probably fill it up, vector, and you see there's an elephant here, and I do have a lot of shapes. I tried a dog, which I'm going to show you right now, which didn't work out, by the way, because you see the image contrast wasn't that great, so it was really hard to achieve the effect that I wanted. And if you can see here, I've used the negative option in Capture, which I showed you earlier, that is discard changes. I've used this option here to convert it into a negative, right? So yeah, go ahead and experiment with things, make use of this amazing feature in Capture and use it in Fresco, and let me know how you like it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell to get a notification whenever I post a new video. If you want to support this channel, you can always buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com. I'll leave the link to do that in the description box below. If you create something, do share your work with me. I am available on Instagram and TikTok with Print Me Some Color as my ID, and I would love to check it out. I guess I'll see you in the next video then. Bye bye.